You might have seen some of our back and neck pain videos, how we treat it in the clinic and what it is and how you can help it at home. But in this video, I'm going to talk about some real examples of exactly what we've done objectively with case studies so you can see the difference before and after from a structural point of view. Now, a lot of the patients you have to bear in mind, and in these two exact examples, people are coming in with more chronic, severe back pain rather than I've just injured my back 2 days ago and it's a little bit sore. So these two cases I'm running through with you are more challenging, so bear that in mind. Now, when we look at patients in the clinic, we're looking at their underlying alignment. This often shows real clues, or gives us real clues as to the stresses and strains that may be going through that injured disc, for example, as is the case of the first one that I'm going through. And you'll see the x-ray on the screen just next to me now, the before x-ray. You notice that the spine is super flat. The curve itself is 19 degrees, so it's got 50% loss of curve through here. And what that does is shifts pressure onto this disc. Now, in this case, the disc is trying to heal, and we've got fantastic treatments here in the clinic. Check that out in some of our other videos, and that helps in the treatment side. But the rehabilitation in this case is absolutely pivotal to combine with treatment because it allowed us to make a change to that curve. Because the patient's walking around with a 19-degree curve and they wonder why their back's not getting better, because they're putting excess pressure through these lower lumbar discs on a day in, day out basis. Now, it's not always possible to start the rehabilitation and the remodeling work straight away, but the patient kicks it off reasonably soon after. And you can see on the screen now the actual change that that makes, fast forward from December through to May. And you can actually see the curve improving. You've got that return of the lordosis, which is the natural curve in the lower back, and you can see how red line and the green line really approximate one another much more closely than in that first image. And the reality of this case is the patient's feeling loads better way before that was achieved. But in this scenario, you've been able to put the bones back in place correctly. And this brings me on to the next point. A lot of times people go to see various practitioners and they say, I'll put the bones back. But they don't take any x-rays, they don't take any imaging, they don't do it before and after. This is the way you actually make change in the spine and really improve someone's biomechanics, their structural stability, the integrity of the spine generally, and then obviously the bit you don't see is the muscular rehab they've done around there as that injury's been healing with the treatment that we do in the clinic. So that's an awesome example. And when it comes to the neck, it's very similar. We commonly see more misalignment or more substantial, objectively, misalignment in the neck with less severe injury. And that's to say, it's more common for us to see a greater reduction in that curve in the patients that we see here. And you can see in this example, we've got an 8-degree curve popping up on the screen just next to me here. That means the neck, which should be 42, has lost the overwhelming majority of its curve and is nice and straight, which is not a good thing. Very similar to the lower back, because these two structures have exactly the same fundamental role. You're driving more pressure through these discs. You're putting more pressure through them on a day in, day out basis, putting stretch and elongation through these muscles on the back. And it's no wonder when patients like this get given exercises like that to stretch those muscles out, they don't get better. All you're doing is cranking down on these discs even more. And you understand that if you're not doing this level of analysis and you're not taking these things into account, or you haven't had them taken into account for you in the past, then you'll do things like knee hugs for the lower back, or you do things like neck stretches or chin tucks for the neck, and then you wonder why things don't properly resolve. You need to take into consideration the alignment of the patient, and that's one of the things we do here that is super important in getting the real results. So not only do we do the treatment again, which again, as I mentioned earlier, you can look on our website or look on some of our YouTube channels about how the treatment works in the individual. We've also got it tailored to the alignment that you see on the screen here. We've also got the rehabilitation tailored, and a diligent patient following the instructions, which is always helpful, can make a great change. And you see afterwards you've increased the degree of curve, or the amount of curve in that neck, by almost 200%. And you've actually restored a little bit of that suspension through the neck. And the one thing I want to point out about this example, because it might be similar to you, is the individual has incredibly good posture anyway. It's marginally forwards, it's not a significant amount forwards, but the head is over the shoulders. But it's only when you do this level of in-depth analysis you actually see the alignment there clearly, and the illusions that the skin and muscle bulk over the top can make are moved out of the way, and you see exactly the kind of structure that person has. And then you understand why they don't do so well in weight bearing, why the injuries never quite recover, why no matter what sort of treatments they've had in the past or exercise they've done, it hasn't done the job. But when we do this, it does do the job. So hopefully this video has been helpful in actually showing you, rather than just telling you, what we do in the clinic and some of the changes that are possible. And it's important to bear in mind that Some of that work is done at home. You have to do that work and work with us in the clinic to make some awesome, lasting change in your body, and the results that will ultimately get you free of pain and working properly again for the long term. So if you got any questions as a result of this or found this helpful, comment or subscribe to the channel underneath here. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching it on Facebook or one of the other platforms, then by all means leave a comment in the descriptions or in the comment section below. And if you need any help, want this level of analysis, this level of work put into your body to deal with those more complicated or long-standing or more severe cases of back or neck pain, then you know who to call. The link will be somewhere in the description to our website. Give us a call or fill out one of the contact forms on the website. I'll be more than happy to take you through this process and get your body better by doing the job properly. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you found it helpful. You can always get involved in the conversation by commenting in the section below, and stay up to date with future videos by subscribing, by hitting the subscribe button somewhere around this video. Thanks for taking the time to watch again, and see you soon.